Oh my gosh, look at me. I'm all dressed up in my Christmas gear. I decided that I'd do my top 50 album video today. Um, what is it? December 24th. There's a few days left in December. I don't know if I'm like what albums I'm going to get to during that time, but it feels like I don't really think. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if I'm going to really find the ones that will get on this list. Actually, there's probably many albums that could make it on this list, but am I going to listen to them? That's the point. So, yeah, let's just do it. Top 50, relatively good year. Let's see what it is, okay? Number 50, Lifestyle by Yeat. I had to put this one in there. Yeah, this isn't Yeat's best, but I listen to a lot of Yeat. I listen to this album a lot. There's still a good bit of hits within this album. So there you have it. Number 50, How to Give It to Him. 49, MGMT, Loss of Life. Yeah, I like this album. It's not one of my favorite MGMT albums, but lots of great songs on it. I think that sound-wise, this is a unique project. Good blend of alt-rock and electronic for sure. 48. What do we got for 48? Ali X, Girl with No Face. I'm just looking at my list. I haven't listened to these albums in a while, though. This album came out at the start of the year. Quite fun, synth-heavy project. I was listening to this. I remember I was going on walks and reviewing this album. But a lot of fun. Off with Her Tits. Great track. 47. I haven't given this a lot of re-listens, but You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to, Knocked Loose. Pretty intense record for something that's like 20 or so minutes long. Not much of a metal person, but this is much more of like a post-hardcore type sound, and if you're into that, yeah, certainly check it out. 46, Something in the Room She Moves, Julia Holter. Now this is an album that I'm not particularly going to like go back to in my life. This is quite avant-garde. This is how I felt about her last album too. Although if I listened to her last album before this, I'd probably like it more than I did back then. But this is odd. It's an odd project, but it's something that I think you appreciate when you listen to it front to back. Okay? You can sit in that mood for sure. 45, Tidal Memory EXO Igloo Ghost. I have a reaction to that, so you can always watch that. Pretty fun club house sort of project. Leans more into the industrial. I'd say it's a little bit more into that industrial noise than their other projects that I've heard from them, which seem much more atmospheric. But yeah, fun project. 44, Dark Times, Vince Staples. I got to this one late. I listened to this one in September. And it's not really like other Vince Staples albums. I think it's a little bit more low key. But I like that sort of atmosphere for sure. 43, this was a weird one. 3.5, 3 plus 5, Melt Banana. Pretty cool. I would definitely check this out if I was you. This is, again, another hardcore album, but very odd vocals. It's just, and listening to this project is quite chaotic, like getting a grasp on it while listening to it. But yeah, it's good. 42, Vamp Mania 3, Lucy 4. I just listened to this album. I just did a reaction to it, and it already made it on the list, okay? I love this album. It seems like Lucy 4 Astro is trying to go into a rage sound, and all this is quite well produced, quite catchy stuff. I'm very happy with their return, because I haven't listened to their music in a long while. I haven't reacted to their music in 2 or so years, and yeah, quite good. 41, Endlessness, Nihilus and Nephro. I actually put this up a little bit recently, just because I had it on in the background. And I was like, oh, this is such a vibe. I would say this album would be higher if it wasn't like the length of it, or like it not engaging as other albums, but just moments of it. It's very nice. This ambient jazz project. It's very easy to get into, I will say. Maybe not easy to sit for the whole like 45 minutes or so, but it's nice. 40. I can't believe this is at number 40, okay? Cutouts, The Smile, Radiohead being my favorite band. Seeing an album of theirs at number 40 is a piss off, for sure. But that's okay. Wall of Eyes is up higher. Spoiler. But yeah, I like this album, obviously. That's why it's still on the list. It's a great project. A little bit more. It's just an art rock album, okay? Not much. Not much else to say. 39, Plastic Death, Glass Beach. Glass Beach. 39 is this is their second album, I think. Their debut album I really, really like. So for them to be dropped at 39 is a little upsetting. It's not really something I particularly go back to, but it's a solid art rock indie album. 38, Shay, Say So Says. Cool, man. This was the one album I think I haven't listened to Gal the Arsonist, but this is the one album that I think I, liked from the 2024 catch up, the 4 albums that you guys are going to get me to react to. And I actually really like Shay. This is like straight up some of the best Rage I've heard. Yeah. 37, Cool World, Chat Pile. Again, noise post-hardcore album. Little metally. I think I just like the personality that's being given by from Chat Pile. I'm not much of like a hardcore person anymore. I think I really like hardcore music more when I was 16, 17. But this it's unique. Stands out to me. 36, The Thief Next to Jesus, Ka. You know what? I think if I went back to Ka's work, I'd probably like it more. I think I only listened to like 1 or 2 albums earlier. Back in the day, when that type of abstract hip hop, well before I had a YouTube. I don't know if I had a YouTube channel at that time. I don't know, but it didn't really engage me. This time, I spent the time paying attention to it. Really great album. Really great album. Yeah, beats are unique, I suppose, but I think it's a really laid back project, I will say. 35, She Reaches Out to She, Chelsea Wolfe. I initially liked this album more in the start of the year, but I think that was just the biasy of like not a lot of albums coming out. But this is interesting project by Chelsea Wolfe. I remember her last project was a little bit more metal oriented, and seeing her kind of go into this trip hop angle. I don't know. It's relatively catchy stuff though, I will say. Or it's very good atmospherically for sure. 34, Joey with Try. I like Joey. A good bit. I find his music extremely catchy. I think it was last year I finally listened to Joey because of y'all. Listening to this new project that came out, I heavily enjoyed it. Very easy listening. It's like less than 20 minutes. And the song Thanks is goated. 33. This would require a re-listen for sure. The Pilgrim, Their God, and The King of My Decrepit Mountain to Peer. This came out in like January. Folk album. I heavily enjoyed it back in January, but I didn't fully return to it. I don't remember the song. Broken Age, I think, is the song. That song, though, kind of stands out as the best one. But, yeah, definitely worth your time. 32. This was a little bit lower, but it kind of got better. No title as of 13 February 2024, 28,340 Dead, Godspeed You. After seeing this album live, I think I boosted the rankings up just a little bit as some of the songs got more memorable. I really like this. I do. It's not like their earlier stuff. It's not like their peak stuff, but it's still really, really engaging stuff. And I also think that as I come back to it, I may like it even more as time passes. 31, Almighty So Too, Chief Keef. Good job, Chief Keef. Okay, you came back, and you certainly came back swinging, man. Not something I'm fully coming back to either, I guess. But when I was listening to it back in May, he's got the energy still. I think that's what's important. Although Dirty Nachos is an album that came out this year, wasn't particularly good. I guess that was kind of throwaways, but he's got some good energy. He's got some decent bars too, I will say. He's not I really hope he reinvents himself at some point too, for sure. But what he's doing is still working. Number 30, A Dream Is All We Know. I'm pretty sure Lemon Twigs was in my top 5 last year. So number 30 is, not, they're losing it just a little bit, but it's still quite good. Music sounds like the 60s. okay? And it's quite catchy, happy stuff. What can I say? 29, No Name, Jack White. Cool. I'm pretty sure this is like a surprise drop. Jack White of the White Stripes. This is a relatively big album. I think this did get nominated for stuff at the Grammys too, and I think this was probably the rock album that will end up winning. Yeah, catchy garage rock. Jack White's been doing this for a long time, and he proved with this album he still knows what he's doing. 28. This one went lower and lower on my list. Honestly, it's not something I came back to as much as I thought I would. Psycho's Young Lean and Blade. I love Young Lean. I love Blade. Their alt rock stuff is still really great. It made it to 28. It's certainly not as good as their rap stuff. Okay, it certainly isn't. It's not as re-listenable as I would like, but I will say lyrically there is a lot of substance to be found on this short project here. 27. Rich Axe Haitian Makami. Great rap album. Okay, there is certainly a good handful of tracks on here that I have been coming back to. Fantastic beats. I wish I could say much about the lyrics, but it's hard to catch on to those. But it's, yeah, fantastic rap project. 26. I'm surprised I like this album so much. You know, look at me. I'm such a hipster boy. But then, well, you know what? Fantano gave this a great score too, right? He did give it an 8. Great American Bar Scene, Zach Bryan. Great Americana, sort of country-esque album. I won't even say fully that the lyrics are what strike me for this. It's just a handful of great, catchy tracks. Okay. Good on him too. I mean, I know that he makes lengthier albums. There was that American Heartbreak, I think. I don't even know what the album is, but I haven't listened to that. It's like 2 hours long. But it's cool to see Zach Bryan. I guess he's not a good guy. I guess that came out recently. But regardless of that, it's interesting for me to see Zach Bryan being such a big name, because I remember someone recommending me Zach Bryan on Best of Our Albums, I think. Very unknown website, not really like Rate Your Music. And so I listened to Deanne years ago before he was a name, and I was like, oh yeah, this shit's fire. And so to see him where he is now is kind of interesting. But yeah, I really like this album. 25, Jenny X, Kendrick Lamar. I will just say too, shout out Mr. Morale. I didn't give that particularly the best score in the world. I think that was actually like number 50 or 49 on my list when that album came out. But I gave that a re-listen before this album, and I kind of recognized how strongly it really is, like how great of an album it really is. But anyways, Jenny X, Kendrick Lamar. I was flip-flopping with how much I like this album, but 25 seems strong. There's a lot of fun songs on here. There's some songs that aren't as working as well as I'd like them to, but it's an easygoing project, easy to get into. And then there's like a song like Reincarnation on here, which is fucking amazing. 24, Songs of a Lost World by The Cure. You know what? For it to be so long since we got a Cure album, cool. You know what I mean? This is a very psychedelic project to me, I'd say. Lengthier songs, really getting sucked into the instrumentation of it all. Easy vibe, I'd say. 23, I Lay Down My Life for You, JPEG Mafia. What the fuck, eh? I did not really like this album that much when it initially came out. But this is growing for me. It really grew for me. And this is just like when Veteran initially came out. I wasn't the biggest fan, and then it grew really strongly for me. I don't think this one's going to grow as much as that one, but some songs that I weren't liking as much initially, I really fucking like now. And I think this album's just strange, just super, super weird. I can forgive him lyrically, for not expanding throughout his career a little bit, because I do think he's expanded on beats in the sonic nature of his music. So fuck me, right? Number 22, In Waves, Jamie XX. Oh yeah, Jamie XX still got it. I've actually listened to this album a good fucking bit since I reacted to it. Just picking songs out, great songs to have on in the background. Yeah. Good on you, Jamie XX. 21, Manning Fireworks, MG Lenderman. I had heard about MG Lenderman before this album, but I haven't listened to him. Gave this album a listen, and I really, really liked it. There's just a really good 2-3 track run, man. Like, I think some of the best songs this year, She's Leaving You, Wristwatch, Rip Torn, that 3-track run is fucking heavenly. Like, ooh, if it wasn't for that 3-track run, I don't know if MG Linderman would have made it at 21. But yeah, chill vibe. And yeah, Fantano, I can't believe you didn't like that album, bro. That album is wonderful. Number 20. Here we go. Number 20. Now we have 2093, Yeat. So we got Yeat at number 50. But at the start of the year with Yeat, with 2093, he was really knowing what's up. That album is fucking sick, okay? Really working on futuristic beats. Somewhat thematically, lyrically, he works, but that's not really what matters, okay? It's just that these songs overall are great rap songs, okay? Like, he really showed his worth continuously, still. 19, Brat. It's completely different, but also still Brat. Charlie XCX. Yeah. Brat. Brilliant album. The remixes are great too, okay? Not amazing, but they're still extremely catchy. Well, I guess they are amazing. There's just some that aren't as good. But blah, blah, blah. Number 18, Challengers. The soundtrack by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. It's the only soundtrack that's going to be on here. I think usually maybe there's like a soundtrack or two that I listen to each year. And yeah, this Challengers one's fucking awesome. Doesn't surprise me. Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails fame. He's always been continuously making great soundtracks. So, yeah, really good techno. Like, this is, like, worth your time. You don't even have to care about the movie, to be honest, to really enjoy this. So, number 17, Wall of Eyes, The Smile. Okay, so Wall of Eyes, Smile. Still, though, Radiohead, favorite band. And only 17 of the year, man. I like this album. I like it a great bit. Okay. Bending Hectic, Teleharmonic, Read the Room. Great fucking tracks. Yeah. 16, Sky 100, Paranoid. Paranoid's always got it. I was realizing, I was like, oh, you know, Paranoid's not a band that I fully, like, remember well in my head, but anytime I'll just put on the album, I'll be like, it's Noise Bliss, okay? It's Noise Bliss, and I was happy to be able to listen to the lyrics for the first time, reacting to this album for a Paranoid album, and he's quite an emotive guy, too, so shouts out. Number 15, 13-inch Frank Beltram Italian Stiletto with Bison Horn Grip Shoo Shoo. Shoo Shoo is, I've been listening to Shoo Shoo for, like, a good bit, man. I think since the Twin Peaks album came out, I've been aware of them and listening to all their newer projects. Although I did like their one new project. I think maybe it was the one before this. No or Oh No, whatever it was. I don't know. But remaining consistent, they've been quite a great group. And this album is just really good on a production level. Strange album. Songs are... there's a lot of variety of sound or how these songs are... Yeah, it's how these songs sound. It's not for everybody. But it's my shit, for sure. 14 here. Yeah. Mahash Mashana. Father John Misty. I like Father John Misty. I wasn't the biggest fan of Chloe, his last album, but before that, he's been a great musician. God's Favorite Customer, I did really like that, but it wasn't something as memorable as like Pure Comedy or I Love You Honey Bear, but he's back to that level of memorability, I think, with this album. For the most part, it's just singer-songwriter stuff. It sounds sort of like 50s Hollywood, or at least that's where my mind goes when I'm listening to it, but very nice. 13, Billie Eilish. Okay, hit me hard and soft. Billie Eilish. This album kind of boosted up a little bit more later on, and I think it's just, I mean, production-wise, this is, as always, Billie Eilish is goated with that, but she's a very strong, emotive performer, and I really like the mood that this album puts me in. If I was going to say that Mahash Mashana reminds me of like a 50s Hollywood, this reminds me of like a modern Hollywood, in a way. I don't know. That's just where my head goes. Number 12. I did actually re-listen to this recently. Not the full thing, but like over half of it. Diamond Jubilee, Cindy Lee. So even though I can't remember all the songs, having it on recently, I was like, yeah, this is the shit. There's a good handful of tracks on this album that have like blown me away. Very easy to have on. These very, it's like how do I explain this? Like this production, like this garage production, but these songs that are sounding very like 50s and 60s, very psychedelic stuff. Very nice. 11, Smile, Porter Robinson. I really, really love this album. Overall, it's just fucking very... I'd say first half it's very much so in your face, bubbly stuff, and the second half it kind of leans into a more balladry sort of stuff. But it's really great project, and I do like sort of the narratives behind it too, about in the sense of like his fan base and stuff. Number 10. Okay, top 10 here. We got Imaginal Disc, Magdalena Bay, number 10. Yeah. I mean, I guess this is still the number one on Rate Your Music. Like, people fucking adore Magdalena Bay with this album. And I do too, I guess. It made it into the top 10. It's impressive. Okay, it's an impressive album. All of these songs ultimately feel like they can be singles. And it's just, and to me, at the end of the day, it's just a very nicely fucking made pop album. It's pretty on par with Mercurial World. I think I may like Mercurial World, at least the singles from it, a little bit more. But yeah, brilliant album. Number 9, Chromacopia, Tyler the Creator, number 9. Yeah, Tyler the Creator has still got it. He hasn't lost it at all, by no means. Oh my god, 4 for 4 with his new career with or new era with Flower Boy. I'd say I like this thematically as well. This is Tyler the Creator in his 30s, and I seeing this sort of growth he's had, or at least the introspection on this lyrically is a lot of fun, and some of these songs are just really banging. Okay, Darlin' I, oh my god. Number 8, No Hands, Joey Valence and Bray. I saw them post something on Instagram. They're like, oh, we didn't really get into any music publications, but that's crazy to me. I think I did see Fantano put in his top 50, lower top 50. But yeah, number 8 for me, man. This album is fucking awesome. These beats are fucking brilliant. I think comedically they really sell lyrically. Like, they have strong personalities that I think they're bringing to the table. So, hell yeah, man. Joey Valence and Bray, No Hands, one of the best projects I've heard this year. Number 7, Bright Future, Adrian Lenker. Amazing folk album. Amazing folk album. I love the mood that this puts me in. She's a sad motherfucker, okay? I definitely like this one more than Songs, but Songs is great as well. Yeah, Adrian Lenker, bro. Number 6, the new sound, Jordy Greep. What the fuck is this album? Strange project. It's like Steely Dan incel musical. Strange. Okay, I'm not sure if I like this album. I'd say this album's kind of just on par with what Black Midi has done. I think this album is better conceptually front to back, maybe, but I think Cavalcade, Black Midi is still my favorite out of the 4 that I could say. But yeah, brilliant album. Thematically, having this main character who, he's fucked in the head. Okay, he's fucked in the head, obsessing over a prostitute. Strange. Right? And we really get to learn about this character and have sympathy for him in a way, which I think is quite interesting. Shout out to Jordy Greep. I'll be able to see this album live in February. I'm pretty excited for that. Number 5, Scrapyard, Quadeca. Awesome. I liked Quadeca's last album, but I wasn't full on about it, and this absolutely blew me away. I like the variety of genres on here, right? We can work with rap, we can work with the more pop-centered stuff, and thematically, this album dealing with some romance that's not really working out. I really lyrically think he bears his emotions on his sleeve, and that works strongly with the sound of this album as well, and I think vocally too, he's excellent vocalist. Yeah, shout out Quadeca, Scrapyard, awesome album. Number 4, okay, Night Palace, Mount Eerie. This is like a lengthy project. A lot of songs are short on this lengthy project, but I really liked Night Palace by Mount Eerie. I think I like this more than A Crow Looked at Me, to be honest. Maybe because this leans into this noisier sound, or it's a little bit more, there's a lot more variety here. I won't say that this is more interesting lyrically than A Crow Looked at Me, but I really like the journey that Night Palace takes me on. Yeah, well worth your... depends on who you are. I don't think this album is for everyone as well. Number 3, Only God Was Above Us, Vampire Weekend. Vampire Weekend a good, when was the first album came out? Like 2008. This far into their career, they easily dropped their best album. All these songs are golden. All these songs are perfect. I swear to God, holy fuck. I've listened to this album so many times. It's the perfect fucking alt rock album. Okay, in my eyes, this is like when we see albums from like Interpol, Turn on the Bright Lights. We see that as a staple of like indie rock. I think about Only God Was Above Us, Vampire Weekend as that modern version of that. Yeah, this is a classic fucking project. Number two and number one are kind of tied in a way, but number two, Cold Visions, Blade. I understand I'm a Blade fan. I have the biases, but Blade outdid himself making an album with 30 tracks that are just fucking bars after bars after. Oh my god, great album. His identity lyrically too. He stands out. He's a sad as fuck individual, but I think he has some nuanced sort of statements to make. It's not like The Fool with his sort of religious sort of stuff, but yeah, the beats on this absolutely brilliant. I have re-listened to this album so many times. This was my most listened to album of the year, but I still think it's not the best album of the year. It's kind of tied, but yeah, me and Fantano are gonna share this. Brat, Charlie XCX. I've loved Charlie XCX for years upon years, but wow, she really did it with this album, eh? I am thinking this may be her best album. It's kind of tied with how I'm feeling now, but I think she did. Maybe it's too with the marketing, not even like the marketing with individual songs. I think she was able to really make so many of these songs stand out on their own. That when I think about this album, right, I'm like, all these songs are hits. Like all these songs have had their time to shine throughout the half a year that this album's been out. And yeah, a lot of these songs are mainstream capability, but I would say a lot of these songs aren't full mainstream capability to that effect. And so I think I'm so glad to see her getting her flowers here with this album and hoping for that Grammy album of the year. I think it's possible. But yeah, this makes me hope that people can go back to Charlie XCX's discography before this and sort of see like, oh yeah, like this is great as well. Like, and maybe be able to give it to the same effects and popularity. Because I understand, she was sort of a decently big name back in the day, and then she didn't lose her popularity, but she kind of found a niche audience. There was a specific audience listening to her. It wasn't the Billboard sort of listeners, but I think she kind of cracked into that. Not 100%, but she cracked into it a little bit with this album. And even as someone who's not like that type of audience, and it still fucking worked for me. So yeah, Charli XCX, goated. Anyways, thank you for watching Top 50. I'm going to do my songs video later, so I probably won't be in the J's. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, y'all, okay? So wonderful 2024. Let's see what music we get in 2025.